How's it going, everybody? My name is LuckyBunz. In today's video, we're going to be going over a bunch of news in Pokemon Go, including the potential release of Mega Mewtwo X and Mega Mewtwo Y. So this is going to be another talking video. It's not really too structured or scripted or anything like that. We're just going to run through some of the most recent updates in the game, and let's just have a discussion about it. So first of all, Mega Mewtwo X and Mega Mewtwo Y. Pretty exciting news. This was recently data mined, and so the assets for Mega Mewtwo X and Mega Mewtwo Y were added. Now, do we know when these are going to be released? No, we don't. This is just the data mine. These potentially could be released during the Kalos Tour or during GoFest 2026. My original prediction was that these Pokemon would be released sometime during GoFest. It just made sense for the 10th year anniversary of the game, but at the same time, the predictions for the Kalos Tour also seemed somewhat realistic, and the reason for that is because we don't really have, any headline Pokemon yet for the Kalos Tour. We have a bunch of stuff that are going to be in place, right? Like we have Xerneas and Yveltal. Neither of those Pokemon are going to get access to Mega Forms, which, going off Legends EA here, that would have to happen at the very least, and they'd also have to be in the game code, so that's not going to happen. Mega Zygarde's probably not going to happen, and really what that leaves us with is a bunch of Mega Pokemon that we've already seen in Pokemon Go, a few shiny releases, but otherwise there's no headline Pokemon for the Kalos Tour. So when it comes down to it, Mega Mewtwo X and Mega Mewtwo Y do seem like the most realistic possibility at this point, just given that they were recently added to the game code, and when it comes to everything else, we don't have anything. So it's most likely going to be these two, I would have to imagine. If not, they're definitely going to get released during GoFest. There's no doubt in my mind about that. But otherwise, yeah, that's my top prediction when it comes down to when those Pokemon are going to get released. Let me know your own thoughts in the comment section down below if you think it's going to be coming during the Kalos Tour or during GoFest. But now let's also talk about their meta relevance for those who are unaware on how good these Pokemon are actually going to be. So Mega Mewtwo X is going to take on the dual typing of Psychic and Fighting, and Mega Mewtwo Y is going to be a pure Psychic type. Now, in terms of which one is actually going to be better for the Raid/Gym meta, that is going to be Mega Mewtwo Y. Now, I would have to imagine this Mega Evolution is going to work similar to how Mega Charizard X and Mega Charizard Y work, so it's just going to be on one singular Pokemon off the same energy, and you can just transform it, without having to, go through a separate process, because that would be frustrating, but this is the only other X and Y form that we've actually seen in Pokemon Go, or that we will see in Pokemon Go outside of Mega Charizard X and Y. Now, I do want to highlight that Psychic-type Pokemon aren't used as often in Pokemon Go, despite Mewtwo being crazy overpowered. You're probably not going to use this one as much as you think. That being said, though, you will definitely take advantage of your Mewtwo against Team Rocket Grunt, specifically the Poison-type ones. I use that all the time, and just does heavy damage with Confusion. I love using my Shadow Mewtwo on that. So you'll use it there, but in terms of raid battles, there are only like a few raid bosses where you'll really take advantage of the Psychic typing. Otherwise, other typings in game are actually just a bit more effective. So one example I can think of is Terrakion, right? Just a pure fighting type, but it is actually quite interesting. And over the years, I kind of started to realize this, like as powerful as Mewtwo is, you don't really see it used as much just because Psychic types just aren't used as much in raids. Now, that doesn't mean that you're not going to use it in PvP. I'm sure it's going to be, still great to use in the Open Master League. I don't personally love using Mewtwo, but it does still rank pretty well. And again, you'll definitely use it against Team Rocket Grunts. And if you do have the Mega Mewtwo active, I'm sure that's going to annihilate everything. So once again, let me know your own predictions with when you think Mega Mewtwo X and Mega Mewtwo Y are going to be released into Pokemon Go. Do you think it's going to be during the Go Tour or during the Go Fest? Alright, next up, let's talk about the upcoming Rocket event. So the event details for this were just posted, and this is pretty exciting. So this event is going to be taking place from January 23rd at 12 a.m. to Sunday, January 25th at 8 p.m. local time. A very short Team Rocket takeover. Honestly, I wish it was a bit longer. 3 days isn't a whole lot of time to grind out these Pokemon and then also TM frustration away on them, but it is what it is. We'll see a new rotation of Team Rocket Leader Shadow Shinies. We're also going to get the new Shadow Pokemon, which are going to be Shadow Chespin, Shadow Fennekin, and Shadow Froakie. There was no mention of any additional new Shadow Pokemon, so it just looks like those are going to be the only ones. Now keep in mind, during the Kalos Tour, we're most likely going to be able to evolve these Pokemon into their respective evolutions to get their legacy movesets for free, so don't evolve them all the way up during this event if you happen to get a good IV spread. Make sure to at least just keep them in their second stage form and remove frustration if you do get a good IV spread on them, and then that way you should be good to go for the Kalos Tour when we can actually get them with their legacy movesets through evolution. Now I can't really imagine that any of these Pokemon are going to be good for the raid/gym meta. I just don't really see it. Potentially Shadow Froakie evolving into Shadow Greninja, that could be good as a water type attacker in the game, just because Greninja was actually quite good just by itself. So we'll have to see how that plays out. Next up, let's go over the new Shadow Legendary Pokemon from Giovanni. So that is going to rotate from Shadow Tornadus Incarnate to Shadow Thundurus Incarnate. Now you might be wondering, is this Pokemon any good? And we'll talk about this more, but I'll just give you the TLDR. No, you don't have to worry about this one too much. You can definitely stack your Super Rocket Radar. If you're not really sure how to do that, you guys can check out this quick video on screen. Should go over everything you need to know in regards to stacking your Super Rocket Radars moving forward. But yeah, overall, this Pokemon, definitely not something you need to worry about. I know it seems like it might be a good one, but you can't actually form change any of the incarnate forms. So you're just gonna have to wait for the Therian form to get released from Giovanni. So as of right now, definitely a skippable Pokemon, cannot be shiny. I'm gonna stack another Super Rocket Radar. I'm currently like 4 or 5 researches with my page 1. So whenever we get a good Shadow Legendary from Giovanni, I'm going to redeem a ton of Super Rocket Radars. Again, make sure to check out that video that I was talking about to really understand what I'm talking about here. Overall, I'm looking forward to the next Team Rocket Takeover event, not necessarily because of TM Frustration, just because I do want to hunt some new Shadow Shiny Pokemon. Didn't really have the best luck this past rotation, and again, this was a long rotation. I think we had it for like 4 months. I was able to get one Shadow Shiny. I got the Shadow Shiny Wobbuffet, but, you know, struck out completely on Larvitar, did not get the Feebas, so yeah, definitely looking forward to the next rotation, and hopefully my luck will be a little bit better. Now, over the weekend for the Rocket event, we're also going to get access to Shadow Raikou Raid Day from 2 to 5 p.m., and that's going to be on Saturday the 24th, so this is actually pretty exciting. It is no longer the #1 best Electro-type attacker in the game. That is currently Regieleki with its legacy moveset Thunder Cage, but Shadow Raikou, in my opinion, is still one of the best Pokemon you can acquire, and again, being like the #2 doesn't really change it all that much. It's super good against Team Rocket Grunts. Like, I use it all the time against Grunts. With Volt Switch, it is amazing, and then paired together with Wild Charge and then Shadow Ball as a secondary charge move, excellent Pokemon, one of my favorite to use by far. Now, in terms of the event details, this will be a typical raid day event, so you'll get access to 5 additional free raid passes for a total of 6 for the day. If you save one in your inventory from the day before, you can actually do a total of 7 free raids, which is pretty cool. You're also going to get an increased chance of encountering shiny Raikou from the Shadow Raids. Again, I don't really want to say anything when it comes down to these shiny raids. A lot of people seem to have mixed opinions on them, but supposedly, right, the shiny raid from Legendary Raid Battles is supposed to be 1 out of 20, and the boosted shiny raid during these raid day events is supposed to be 1 out of 10. RNG is still going to be RNG at the end of the day. I would not go in expecting to get a shiny from this raid day, but if you are able to get it, I think the shiny looks amazing. I was lucky enough to get it when it was just in the regular raid rotation, so yeah, I love using that. It just looks so freaking cool. So if you do have extra raid passes, I would say it's worth giving it a shot, but maybe don't go too crazy because, again, sometimes the sunk cost fallacy really does kick in with some of this stuff. Now, again, like with most raid days, we're also going to have an event ticket for $5. You guys can gift these to your friends if you would like to, and for this event, I would say this one's definitely worth gifting if you are feeling generous. From this event ticket, you're going to get 8 additional raid passes to use. Once again, these are the orange raid passes, so you have to use them before 5 p.m. Otherwise, you will lose them. You're also going to get an increased chance to get Rare Candy XL from raid battles, but I would be highly skeptical about this bonus. We did have this during the Kyurem Fusion raid day about a week ago, and unfortunately, these raids were pretty terrible. Now, the upside here is that if you've already made it to Tier 3 of the Go Pass for this month, you're going to get additional rewards from raid battles. It's basically double everything, so, I mean, this is a great time to really take advantage of both bonuses. I'm not saying, like, the event ticket bonus is going to be extraordinary, but just doing these raid battles with the Go Pass Tier 3 bonus is actually quite good. So, again, it's a great time to go out there and just get some raids done because Shadow Raikou is so meta-relevant, so all around, you'll definitely get some good rewards just from being on Tier 3. So if you haven't progressed to that point yet, to definitely try to be proactive about it every single day. You can get a certain number of points done, and if you do actually have the paid version of the Go Pass, you can get even more points every single day. So once again, Shadow Raikou Raid Day, definitely an event I do strongly recommend participating in. It's going to be a really good one, and we have no idea when that Pokemon's going to come back, so take advantage of this opportunity to get yourself one of the best Electro-type attackers in the game, and even if you aren't able to get a Shadow Shiny, hopefully you're able to get a decent IV spread, something 3-star. When it comes down to Shadow Pokemon, guys, they are so much better than regular Pokemon. Even a 0% IV Shadow Pokemon is better than 100% IV regular Pokemon, so don't waste this opportunity. It's going to be a really, really good one. Now, finally, I want to go over the most recent event that was announced that's going to be Into the Depths, and that's going to be available from January 27th at 10 a.m. to Sunday, February 1st at 8 p.m. local time. This event is actually pretty cool because we're going to get the debut of another new Pokemon. That's like the third one this month, which is pretty awesome. I love that we're getting new Pokemon in the game right now, and it's at a more consistent rate. In terms of the event bonuses here, we're going to get 3 times experience from completing routes, a pretty interesting one that they've never actually done before, and 1/2 egg hatch distance. So another event that's going to be focused on egg hatching, which, as you guys know who have watched the channel for a while now, I don't particularly love. I do have an excess amount of super incubators from the referral program, so I'll probably hatch a few of these eggs, but overall I can't say that I'm too thrilled about an egg hatching event. Now, the debut Pokemon during this event is going to be Glimmet, the Ore Pokemon, and you'll have a chance to encounter this from routes, field research, free timed research, and paid timed research. This means this Pokemon will not be available in the wild or from raid battles. Now, as far as the wild encounters go, we're going to get access to Diglett, Dunsparce, Meditite, Yungoos, and more, and Diglett is going to be shiny boosted, I believe, at a shiny rate of 1 out of 128, so best of luck out there with that one. It does have a blue nose. Now, like I mentioned earlier with the egg hatching bonus, we're going to have special 7-kilometer eggs, and from these eggs you guys can expect to see Diglett, Larvitar, Bagon, Dino, and Yungoos. Diglett and Yungoos will be shiny boosted from these eggs, but again, they never disclose the hatch rates here, so I don't know if it's going to be really that good. For these Pokemon, Diglett and Yungoos really aren't anything crazy. I feel like if they gave the shiny boost to Larvitar, Bagon, or Dino, that would have been much better for especially like new players coming back to the game. That being said, though, you do have access to 3 pseudo-legendary Pokemon. Larvitar does evolve all the way up into Tyranitar, and this is one of the best Dark-type attackers in the game, especially in its Shadow form, and it also does have a Mega Evolution. Bagon evolves all the way up into Salamence. It also does get access to a Mega Evolution, and it does have a Shadow, and Shadow Bagon is currently available from the Rocket Grunt rotations right now. And then we do also have Dino, which evolves all the way up into Hydreigon, but that's not going to be as good as a Dark-type attacker anymore compared to something like Tyranitar. That's just going to be the Pokemon you want to go with, especially because Hydreigon requires a legacy moveset called Brutal Swing, and Tyranitar gets access to that non-legacy. So for Hydreigon, you'd have to use an Elite TM. For Tyranitar, you wouldn't. So definitely go with Tyranitar over Hydreigon all day. That being said, though, if you're going to be hatching these 7-kilometer eggs, I think it's going to be a great way to farm some candy on these Pokemon, especially some extra large candy for their Shadow variants. And then finally, we'll also get access to a paid timed research available for $2. You will get an additional bonus from this paid timed research, which is going to be 2 times hatch candy. So I guess for anybody who's going to be hatching a lot of eggs, I feel like buying this paid timed research is definitely going to be worth your money. You're also going to get 2 incubators, and you're going to get encounters with Diglett, Yungoos, and Glimmet, and potentially more. So when it comes down to it, this paid timed research is going to be worth it if you plan on hatching a bunch during this event. Otherwise, you can probably just skip it. Anyways, with that being said, that pretty much covers all the news I wanted to go over in this video. I'd love to hear your own thoughts about any of this stuff that we talked about in the comment section down below. And of course, if you do want to check out some more Pokemon Go content in the meantime, you guys can watch these 2 videos next.